Okay, I'm a bit late, but it's time for E3 to start. More specifically, it's EA's conference, which, technically speaking, isn't an E3 conference. They have their own events called EA Play that they run around the same time. It's pretty different in terms of how it's set up. Public only. Stuff like that. But I wrote down a quick list of potential announcements, and we'll go through them. First on the list is Anthem, which is super obvious. It was announced, I believe, last year. At the time, it was super hyped up because it was BioWare's next big game, but I feel like now it's probably a bit less exciting because of the whole Star Wars Battlefront 2 controversy and BioWare's other thing, Mass Effect Andromeda, getting pretty poor reception. The other big title is Battlefield 5, which, it's Battlefield in World War II. It's rumored to have a Battle Royale mode, which some people are saying might become a theme this year. Pretty interesting. The weirdest thing is the fact it's called Battlefield 5 because it's going back to World War II. The World War I Battlefield game, which was last year, was called Battlefield 1. So I'm not sure why they didn't just call it Battlefield 2 aside from the fact there's already a game called Battlefield 2. Couldn't they just call it just Battlefield 6? That seems like it'd make more sense. Recently, Unravel 2 got an ESRB rating, which usually means something's pretty close to release. There could be a chance it's announced releasing during the conference, but I'd say 50-50. And of course, Unravel's one of EA's originals, which is essentially indie games published by EA. I'd imagine there's a few more of that sort of thing to be announced there, such as, fairly recently, this year had A Way Out, which was fairly well received. I think it actually sold super well for what it was. And then also Thief, which I don't think anyone's really talked about. Well, actually, that was last year. A Way Out came out this year. They stated there would be a brand new mobile game here, which is kind of lame. Especially if it's a revival of, say, an old IP, like the infamous Dungeon Keeper mobile game. This isn't the first time they've revealed a mobile game at a EA press conference. An EA press conference. Last time it was a Minions mobile game, as in the Despicable Me ones that everyone hates. Sports, they always show off sports games this year. FIFA, Madden, just standard stuff. Fairly recently, Skate 3's online servers suddenly went back up, which is odd. So there's a chance that there might be a Skate 4 announced, considering how highly demanded it is. EA has Star Wars, which, the previously announced Star Wars game by Visceral caused the company to get shut down. It never actually got released, and they're apparently, I believe, retooling it into something else from, I forgot the specific EA company that's handling it. Respawn, the devs of Titanfall, are making a Star Wars game 2, but it sounded like it was fairly early in development. So all that's really left is Battlefront 2 DLC, maybe. And we barely made it in time. So, let's go. So, pretty standard stuff to start with. Every conference does this sizzle reel thing. Yeah. Nothing too special. Oh, there we go. There's Anthem. Which they said they were going to just... As I said, it's one of the big things. And they've straight up said, like, weeks before that, yes, there will be a big focus on Anthem. So, not too shocking.
Oh my gosh, how cool is that?
Oh, just an intro. But, we'll probably get back to later. This announcer's new. Andrea Reen. She hosts a gaming podcast, I believe, called What's Good Video Games. I forgot what she'd done prior to that, but I know she was like a fairly decently known game journalist.
Before we do that, EA Play is more than just the show you're about to watch. Right behind these doors, there is a fan fest outside, and it is huge this year. It's a full 3-day gaming festival where thousands of gamers can come and play games for free. Now, inside the theater,
and here's the like standard, the not E3 event they're running.
Streaming and getting their first impressions of the games that we're going to be showing off here today. But before we can get to that, we've got some reveals, of course. We're going to kick things
here we
off
go.
with a look at Battlefield 5 multiplayer. Now, I know Trevor Noah gave me the first look. Yeah, we can clap it up. Last month, but we've got
kinda lame.
Today. Then we're going to move on to FIFA 19, and boy,
and there's the first mention of sports.
Any World Cup fans?
Hoo boy.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
At least we're not starting with it.
New indie games to share, and then I'm going to come back towards the end of the show with some of my favorite.
One of those indies is probably Unravel 2.
Look at Anthem. And of course, yeah, we got the woos for Anthem. I'm into it. You want to do this with me? Well, wouldn't it be fun, you guys, if I told you all the secrets at once, right? Well, give him a break. He needs to just enjoy the show. So without further ado, let's get things started.
Yeah. Again, if I had more time, I probably would have talked about how this is kind of standard stuff. EA's conferences are usually pretty safe aside from the occasional EA original title. Ubisoft is quite a bit better. They have some occasional new IPs, but of course, usually them, Ubisoft, and Bethesda are the only third parties, but for some reason Square Enix is coming back. But we're kind of getting sidetracked away from EA, so...
also been lots and lots of questions from the community. And we've heard you want to see more gameplay innovations. You want to know how customization actually works. You want to know more about our take on the Second World War. So today, we'll show you more
again, not the first time they've done a World War II game. I believe. In fact, I think the first Battlefield was World War II.
Smash through windows to surprise your enemies. Where previously defenses were stationary, you will now be able to move these weapons around on the battlefield and gain advantages. And our renowned destruction system is back and more impactful than ever. So, well, you can't really hide from tanks anymore.
That's been around since, I believe, Bad Company. I think they toned it down, starting with 3, maybe.
And your weapons, not only for the gameplay, but for the looks, as part of our portrayal of the Second World War.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg in Battlefield 5. You're going to see a lot more of our new gameplay systems here at EA Play from our community. So let's talk about our single player in War Stories.
Yes, let's do that. So we want to tell you about those untold stories that got us excited to start with on this game.
I think the last Battlefield single-player campaign was like 4 hours long.
It is about
not
witnessing
super exciting.
all through the eyes of the men and the women who shaped the world forever. Real and
There was a campaign mission where you played as a bird, though, so that was pretty nice.
we started off by an exclusive look at the Nordlys war story over at the Xbox briefing tomorrow.
Thanks, Lasse.
And we got our first mention of the Xbox briefing. They, yeah, this, I think this always happens every year, where announcements from the earlier conferences before the big three just say, we're going to be saying more about this game at insert big three conference here. And I'm pretty sure it always happens with EA in the Microsoft conference.
It's Royale.
Yep! Here we go. First Battle Royale mode announcement.
Royale reimagined for Battlefield. So
I'm not,
Battlefield with destruction,
yeah,
team
I'm not
vehicles,
too
in the
interested,
new
really.
experience. So we will
But I
bring an experience
don't think
that
it's
you
like
haven't
that
played
bad, going to be that bad of an
or
issue.
anywhere
I
else.
think a lot of people are afraid it's just going to be, everyone's going to be saying, oh, we got a Battle Royale mode. We got a Battle Royale mode. Just like every single conference. But, seems, I think, seems a bit overblown.
Fighting across multiple maps and modes. Welcome to your next Battlefield experience, and this is your first look at ground operations. And this time, even featuring music.
Yeah, we have both the big two FPS franchises with Battle Royale modes, so that's a pretty big deal, and just shows like how big that genre's gotten over the past couple of months. The difference is that Call of Duty revealed their Battle Royale mode immediately, and EA decided to just wait until the big moment, the E3 conference, to talk about it. Not very much Battle Royale-ish stuff, though. I feel like they would at least show gameplay of that mode specifically, but just looks more like standard Battlefield multiplayer. Also, it's kind of odd that the logo has a Roman numeral in it, because usually they use numbers. And that's what's being shown at the Xbox briefing. All 2 seconds of it. Oh no. Sports. It's FIFA time. I mean, it's a big franchise, but you'd think that maybe you said everything about it already. It's football. It may have better graphics. And it's coming out this year. But that's, again, like the safe announcement that always happens. And I have no idea why. Like, obviously people play FIFA. It's hugely popular. Especially in European countries. But still, it's really odd that they always show it without fail. Probably in a couple of minutes, they're probably going to show Madden 2. And that's pretty much the same story. Just swap popular in European countries with popular in the US only. Sometimes they bring in, like, professional players, too. I never understand why. Well, that's an interesting special celebrity. Just a trophy.
That's the UEFA Champions League, the pinnacle of club football, where the world's best.
Well, it's me, this random girl, and our special guest, a giant trophy.
The world's biggest league joins the world's game. And a special thanks to the legendary Hans Zimmer and LA's own Vince Staples for collaborating with us on the trailer. And I really
Hans Zimmer?
captures our epic vision.
Him? He composed the music for this trailer? Well, this isn't the first game he's done music with for EA. I remember him doing the soundtracks for, I believe, Crisis 2 and Crisis 3. But he's mainly known for doing movie trailers, and he's certainly not known for doing game trailers. Especially not a football game. Or soccer, really, if you're in the US.
Champions League tournament mode. Your club will chase this trophy in career mode. Alex Hunter will pursue Champions League glory in your story mode, The Journey, and in
oh yeah, there's story modes in these sports games now. Super detailed ones too, surprisingly enough. I remember one of the NBA games getting Spike Lee, a fairly popular film director, to do the story mode for the game. Of all people. But man, there's really not much to say here. It's football. Or soccer.
With input from our community. From hands-on tests with beginners to detailed feedback sessions with FIFA pros. And we're going to be sharing a lot more about gameplay throughout the summer, but what I can tell you right now is that
But again, this happens every year. And I have no idea why.
Experiencing the game.
This seems like a game they could just drop with very little advertising and still get millions of copies sold.
And that's our FIFA 19 news, headlined by the UEFA Champions League. But I just wanted to take a minute to pause and reflect. Standing next to this trophy is a little bit surreal. You know, growing up, there's...
Phil, yeah, I'm pretty sure they say that every time there's a celebrity, too. So this probably is the actual celebrity guest they brought out this year. Just a giant trophy.
The World Cup.
Man, I wish we brought the World Cup here. Then we get 2 guest stars.
As you can imagine, all of us on the FIFA team can't wait for the start of the World Cup. And we want to celebrate with FIFA 18 players, which is why we've just updated the game with a free World Cup experience on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PS...
I didn't even realize this game was already out.
But you can take Ronaldo and Portugal...
It just randomly drops out there, and you just forget about it if you don't have any interest in FIFA.
Or you can make a crazy dream a reality for your home country, like mine, Iceland. Who would have thought that a nation of only 350,000 people would ever qualify? And you can feel their excitement.
I'm not really feeling the excitement.
Apologies to any England fans in the room, that might still sting. And Lena isn't the only one who's excited. FIFA 18 players are loving the World Cup experience so far. But we don't want to stop there. We want to invite everyone to come and join the celebration. So I'm pleased to announce that for a limited time, FIFA 18 complete with the entire World Cup experience is available for a free trial on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and on PC through Origin Access. Yeah, you can
Well, that's a lame
the entire game right now
early drop.
Yeah.
Or actually, I think the correct term's shadow drop, so I'll just stick with that.
So to kick off the trial, we've got some of the world's biggest creators.
Please say the same thing about Unravel 2, because that would be nice.
And this summer will bring so much more for FIFA fans. Plenty of FIFA 18 content centered around the World Cup, and we'll bring you all the details on FIFA 19. But in the meantime, let's all enjoy the World Cup. Thank you, and auf Ravistan!
And here's the other FIFA trailer. Again, every year, every single year. At least it was short.
Good morning. EA Sports FIFA 19. You know, the FIFA community never rests. 20 million people from 60 countries playing in competitive leagues this year. Well, the FIFA team never rests either, bringing the Champions League and the World Cup and so much other greatness to FIFA this year. We can't wait for you to experience it all. We've got so much to do here today, but I want to welcome you to EA Play. It's our third EA Play and our second one in Hollywood, and we couldn't be more excited to have you with us to share all the games that we have to share. We've got lots to do, but before we move on, I'd like to share just a couple of things. The greatest disruption to the consumption of entertainment media in the last 5 years is the combination of streaming plus subscription. As consumers, watching movies, watching TV, listening to music, reading books has never.
They're about to announce a streaming service, aren't they?
That disruption is going to have a profound impact on our industry in the next few years. And so over the last couple of weeks, you will have seen that we announced a new team from Israel has joined Electronic Arts to help our investment to extend our thinking and extend our pioneering into this cloud gaming world.
Yep.
For many people, that's going to mean
cloud game streaming.
Play on our partner platforms. For others, it's going to mean new games and new modalities of play across a whole variety of platforms.
EA Technical Trial Cloud Gaming.
It's going to mean playing games anywhere, anytime. So this week we've got a tech demo running. All of our games streaming in HD from
Inside's not one of their games.
Devices that you'll be able to try out for yourselves.
That's self-published from the actual dev.
It is a promise of what we hope to bring you in the future. The second part of that, of course, is subscription. And we started subscription a number of years ago. And
yeah, EA Access.
Signed up and experienced the joy of being able to have full access to a great catalog of games.
Coming to PS4, maybe?
We're announcing Origin Access Premiere. So 3 things you need to know about it. Origin Access Premiere will bring all of our new PC games, starting with Madden NFL.
Oh, I get it. They're trying to take on game. What? Okay, that actually is somewhat interesting because they rarely bring Madden and FIFA to PC. Like, I think the last one was like in 2009 or something. But still, they're taking on Game Pass by just straight up giving people the games day one instead of just providing trials like they used to. But the real thing is, I can't believe I actually got excited for them mentioning Madden. Wow. They found the one possible way anyone would be surprised by Madden. Good job, EA. And again, some of these games aren't EA because they have like third-party publishers fueling Origin Access nowadays. It's like the Batman games, Inside, again, stuff like that isn't EA. It's other publishers.
Inside the crowd at EA Play, and I just happened to find Mr. Vince Zampella here in the audience from Respawn. What's going on, Vince? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I love this stuff. I love seeing new games.
I mean, someone's super excited about that Madden on PC, right? Yeah! So, you guys may have seen that Vince was tweeting yesterday, and there has been a
I certainly wasn't.
So, you want to just get right to it?
Sure. I mean, we're not ready to show all of our stuff yet. we're working on a bunch of stuff. It's amazing. The teams are kicking ass. But we wanted to bring a little tidbit. So we've been working with Lucas on getting the name and kind of the setting for what our Star Wars game is going to be. And we're going to right now.
Oh, you guys got any guesses? I bet you the internet is going wild right now.
I hope so. So the Star Wars name is Jedi Fallen Order.
Woo!
Uh-oh.
Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, so it kind of gives you some idea that you'll be playing a Jedi.
So does that mean I get to like hold a lightsaber?
Yes.
So Vince, you got anything else?
Well, it takes place during the dark times, trying to be a little vague.
Stop talking.
When the Jedi
Just stop talking.
So it's gonna be
If you say anything else, EA's gonna cancel it. This is the exact same thing that happened with Visceral's Star Wars game. They announced it, they teased it, but this time, instead of them showing like 4 or 5 seconds of gameplay, instead he's just like straight up talking about it. But that really isn't a good sign.
Now anxiously want to know, like, when can we play the game?
It will be holiday of next year, 2019.
Okay, there's at least a release date, so maybe EA won't immediately destroy it like last time.
Set expectations. We're all going to be amped up, and hopefully we'll hear more from you maybe next year.
Oh yeah.
Well, Vince, it was great to see you. Thanks for stopping by the show today. We do have a little bit more news on Star Wars, so I'm going to toss it over to Dennis.
Well, there's the Battlefront 2 DLC.
Hello there. My name is Dennis. I work at DICE in Stockholm on Star Wars Battlefront 2. I'm really happy and excited to be here today, so thank you so much for hanging out with me for a little bit. So, if
only they didn't cancel the Visceral Star Wars game, or rather completely retool it so it's stuck in early development again.
We had to take a step back
and
make sure that we were delivering the game that our players really wanted. So we decided to completely overhaul our progression system.
We're in the apologies for the loot boxes stage.
So from there, we added a new hunt mode inspired by the original Battlefront games that I loved personally, starting with the Ewoks on Endor. And thank you. It turned out to be by far the most popular update of the game, and the team loved building.
Well, you don't have to show it 3 times.
We're currently in our Han Solo season with content from the movie coming next week. It's headlined by the new planet Kessel, a really dangerous place, and it features the return of one of our favorite modes, Extraction. So looking forward a little bit, this summer we will be introducing a new squad system to the game, which will allow you to team up much easier and play with your friends. We're also adding...
The solo stuff was already announced, and I'd imagine the squad stuff's already announced, and they're showing the footage again.
We'll also be delivering a new large-scale multiplayer sandbox.
As I said, these conferences tend to be very safe.
And attacking and taking out capital ships. But that's not all. We know that you have been asking for new heroes, villains, and planets from a certain era that features
Knights of the Old Republic,
Star Wars conflict. So I'm excited to confirm that Battlefront 2 this year will be going deep into the Clone Wars.
Oh. I mean, well, Knights of the Old Republic's not canon anymore. But people don't really like the Clone Wars, if I remember correctly.
The largest level we have ever built for Battlefront. So let's talk about the heroes and villains. First, let me introduce...
Okay, people like that guy. I remember that.
Droid army in the galaxy, General Grievous. And yes, he will be going up against my own personal favorite, Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. Finally making his debut in Battlefront after all these years. So, but we're not done. That's not it. They will not come alone. Joining them is the Dark Lord and leader of the Separatist Alliance, Count Dooku, as well as
in Jar Jar Binks.
Balance to the Force, Obi-Wan's unruly Padawan, Anakin Skywalker. The team at home is extremely excited to be building all of these cool things. EA and DICE are committed to Battlefront. We had a rough start, but I really think that this game has a bright future. Thank you very much for playing the game, providing.
You sure did have a rough start.
Together, we will make this the greatest game that we can possibly build. There would be no Battlefront without you. So thank you, may the Force be with you, and enjoy the rest of E3. Thanks.
This seems like an EA Originals game. Oh, hello! It's Unravel 2! Shame it was leaked already, but hey, the first game was pretty cool. Or if they'll bring back the yarn dude that brought over like a little real-life yarn figure. I remember a lot of people liking him.
Hi, it's really good to see you.
I don't think that's him. Oh no, really? Okay, good.
In Unravel, we use
This is my only stream. Please don't break like that again.
bonds between people. In our new game, we tear that bond up right at the start. You lose everything, including your spark. But when things are at their darkest, you find hope. And you form a new bond.
Cute.
And your spark is rekindled. And it leads you off on an adventure. So welcome to Unravel 2.
Available now? Come on.
It's a game about
Oh no.
starts and second chances.
At least it's still going. Please.
These two little souls who refuse to give up and who build something new and beautiful together. And the whole game is inspired by that spirit of optimism and togetherness. You see, it's all made to be played with two characters. You can play it alone, or you can play it in co-op with a friend, but there's always two characters there, sharing one yarn and working together to get through this adventure. This game, it's quite different from the first. It's both friendlier and more challenging, but above all, it's a lot more playful. And we think it's a worthy successor. And I want to show it to you now, so I brought some help. So please welcome Michael to the stage. It's a producer at Coldwood.
Please stop stuttering. Please. I'm on the fastest possible internet connection I can handle.
I'm going to try to show you a little bit
Please.
of what I'm talking about how you can play the game in co-op with yourself, essentially. So this wasn't prepared. There we are.
For a second, I thought that debug setting was the Twitch player about to crash.
Carry them along through the more fast-paced segments of the game. And we actually tried to include a bit more of those because we figured that since it's a co-op game, we wanted to have more like thrill and danger and kind of wow moments. Places that were like fun and exciting.
Yeah, I'm liking it.
And then when you get to the more puzzly areas like this, when you're problem solving, you can split apart into two and switch back and
Please.
forth between the two characters. characters, because that's how we've essentially designed all the problems and puzzles of the game.
I can't change the video settings.
Helping each other out and utilizing this bond between you to overcome any obstacle that you come across.
And I have no idea what it got set to. But I'm assuming it's like max settings, which I don't really need.
Yeah, come join me. So I'm gonna be the red one.
Okay.
You be the blue one.
I'll be blue. A little celebratory flip there.
No.
And the bird is back. Playing it safely now. Oops. I'll swing. All right. Nice. And I'll catch you. Here you go. Can I swing now? Okay, you go ahead. So here it goes. Oh. Okay, this is the scary part. Let's see if we can do it. Got it? Oh, very nice. Oh, faster. Oh, sweet, well done. Okay, I'll go up and distract the grouse. I'll sneak up here. Okay, your turn.
Yeah, look at me.
Here you are. Keep him over to the left.
It looks nice. But depending on if they actually release it today or not, I don't really feel like it deserves this long of a showing.
Now we can breathe again.
Yeah, finally.
Or can we? So that's a quick little look at Unravel 2, yeah, I really hope you like it. And before I go, I just want to send some love to the team back home, because working on this game has been
Please don't skip the release date, please.
Amazing team effort in so many levels. And
no.
so hard. So there's a bunch of us from Coldwood here, and thank you to those, and thank you to everybody back home, and thank you. Love you.
Okay, that's really overdoing it. I feel like you should just skip the trailer and just showed the release date. And release date.
Thank you, Martin.
Wait, not even the trailer has a release date?
Really strong. These guys have done an amazing job, and it's clear that they have a lot of passion, and I can't personally wait to play Unravel 2 with my kids. But what's even more amazing is that we will make Unravel 2 available to everyone today. Yep.
Yeah! That's what I was hoping for, but man, did they really need to show that much gameplay if it's already out, technically, or at least out immediately after they announced it?
2015, we started on this journey with the original Unravel to seek out the most.
And here we go. Here's the EA original stuff.
Into our EA Originals program.
It's been our way of helping these creators bring their unique games to the world and to tell their stories. And last year, if you remember, Joseph Fares was up here on stage representing his team at Hazelight and The Way Out.
Yeah, I remember
I
him.
think we all kind of remember that. And you might even remember him from the Game Awards as well. I think.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Fuck the Oscars!
It's innovative, it's fun, and it's something fresh and new. And you all loved it. We saw over 2 million players in the first 2 weeks. And A Way Out is such a huge success that Joseph and his team are expanding and moving into a new studio. So stories like this drive our industry, and it's why we will continue to work with independent developers to help them realize their dreams. Which leads us to our next EA Originals title, from a little game studio in Berlin called Joe My Games. When I met this
Haven't heard of them.
game, I was instantly drawn to how personal this story was. It's one that carries a...
But it's probably going to be pretty good.
And it's unlike anything we have ever done. So please welcome Connie Gepper to the stage from Joe My Games to tell you more about Sea of Solitude.
Thank you, Patrick. I still remember during the pitch how enthusiastic Patrick was, and that afterwards, like,
yeah, that looks great.
Including me, we're super excited. It actually feels a little bit the same right now. I'm pretty excited, maybe a little too excited. Thank you. We are Yomai, a small indie game studio from Berlin, and we are developing Sea of Solitude, or SOS as we call it. The whole journey from the very first concept to actually becoming a part of EA Originals is simply amazing. Let me tell you more about our game. When humans get too lonely, they turn into monsters.
Did you know that this isn't even the first time EA had a indie game publishing program? The last one was called EA 2D, I believe. I think they also published the occasional game as just EA, which they done for stuff like the Shank games, Death Bank, Fancy Pants Adventures. I think Spare Parts might have been an indie thing too.
As an artist, you process your emotional world by letting it out and putting it into your art.
Not sure why they'd stopped for a couple of years and then moved on to this.
Like the concept seems to just float out of me, like right into the hand and onto the paper. I think this is also why so many people can instantly connect with a game, because it's not a made-up story, even though that it takes place in a fantastic setting. In SOS, we try to show how people experience different kinds of...
Oh, that's what the title means.
How outsiders, friends, and families see those who struggle. We achieve all this in playful ways, so that players who want to simply enjoy a fantastic experience can do so. But player who wants to look a bit deeper can reveal a whole emotional world beneath it all. Sea of Solitude is about a young woman named Kay who is suffering from such strong loneliness that her inner feeling, the darkness, the anger, the hopelessness, worthlessness, turns to the outside and she becomes a monster. The game is about finding out why this happened to her, but also how to turn her back into a human. Ultimately, the goal is to bring all those emotions into balance. Some needs to become bigger, some would be better off.
Yeah, that art looks amazing.
To embrace even your destructive part, or your
if it's like A Way Out, it's probably next year though, unfortunately.
This is what being human is all about. And that's what our game is all about. Thank you.
Is this real? haunts me and tortures my soul. I'm no child of destiny and no fortune son. I've just chased.
Please! That actually looks really interesting. Don't do this now.
A new day is here, but nothing is new. Alone in my room.
At least it's happening during the EA conference and not a more important one. Yeah, as I expected, next year. Probably worth the wait. Sports again. Oh boy. The Safe Conference.
Just remember though, wherever you call home, whenever you're fit, or however you ball, you're on my court.
Yeah, I get it. It's basketball.
And this is my squad.
Oh, they brought back the "It's in the Game" slogan. That's nice. At least there's some interesting things happening with the sports announcements, even if they have nothing to do with the actual games themselves, like the PC port of Madden. In the return of the "It's in the Game" slogan. Oh, and yeah, there's Madden esports. For some reason. Oh, there's their celebrity thing. Sports player.
Okay, baby, how you doing?
I've been good. You still recovering from that butt whooping?
Wow, already starting. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Juju Smith-Schuster from the Pittsburgh Steelers. As you guys can see, king of touchdown celebrations. That's pretty fire. I like that a lot. As you guys know, this is Young Kid.
Is that a Hadouken?
18 Madden champion. Like, give it up for Young Kid, y'all. Give it up. Young Kid, how has it been, your success and your path, to where you're at today?
It's
Just,
I've always been a competitor. When I was in high school, I was playing baseball, I hurt my arm. So then I picked up Madden, and at first, I was really bad. I was getting blown out online, but I kept at it. I put more and more time into it. Eventually, I made my first tournament, but I had a big decision. It was the same time as my graduation.
Wow, okay. So the key to be the #1 player in Madden is to hurt your arm in baseball. That's number one. Number two, you said you had the decision to go to your graduation or go to a tournament. So, like, what did you do?
I chased that money. I still got my diploma, but I chased that money.
There you go. We're out here chasing money.
yeah, I'm sure a lot of people say that about EA too.
The past few years, how has it been for you? I know you had some ups and downs.
It's been tough. I've had a lot of devastating losses. I've been so close so many times. I made the final on TV and got blown out by all those losses. It made me gain a lot of mental toughness, and that's how I got this belt.
That's awesome. That belt is so amazing. There's a lot of, bling on that belt for you. Well, today, EA Play, first look at the Madden 19 trailer. Super excited. It's going to be so fun. It's lit.
I honestly wish I can stay right here and talk to you guys forever, but I'm not going to board you guys. We're going to go out. I'm going to try to take this belt, you know, round 2. So we're out. Have a good day.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he just takes the belt for real.
You've worked your whole life to get to moments like these.
It'd be more interesting than sports again.
You battled through the pain and failure, all just to get to this place where you've been told legends are born. You fall so you can rise, and you rise so that you can truly see that it was really never about reaching the end of the road at all, but about all the moments that got you here.
Very least, I think this is all of the sports games that EA possibly has. Unless if they just suddenly say, oh yeah, we're making a rugby game. Or we're making a tennis game. Or we're bringing back golf games. But at the very least, it's still, like, technically new. And not something they show every year, if they did that. And I guess this is the anthem part.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Nathanius, professional shoutcaster, here alongside Redwood Studios General Manager Michael Martinez. How you doing today?
I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah, we're going to do this presentation a little bit differently and give you your first look at a brand new mobile game in a live winner-take-all head-to-head match. Michael, why don't you tell
There's the mobile game.
The objective is straightforward. Destroy the opponent's base to win. Unit control, super simple.
Oh no.
Tap the destination.
It's Command and Conquer, isn't
The
it?
most efficient way to destroy the opponent's base is with this giant nuclear missile in the center of the map. Control the missile by standing on a majority.
People are gonna be angry.
A bar fills up.
That sucks.
Whoever controls the missile when the bar fills up will fire the missile. Takes 2 missiles to destroy the enemy's base and win. That's it.
Sounds great, Michael. Well, enough talking about it. Let's get to this match.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an awesome matchup lined up for you here today. Fighting for the blue side of the room. If you could please give a cheer for one of the most formidable RTS players there is. Make some noise for In Control.
Yes.
His opponent, fighting for the red side of the room. A competitive mobile
I mean, it's at least better than Minions, but... And that guy's just straight up a television channel. Okay.
Now, Mike, it's going to be a real clash of these gaming styles and the competitive backgrounds that these players have. It should be a great match.
It really is. I can't wait.
All right. Are the players ready? Let's get this thing going.
Ready to go. I'm ready to go. Let's do it.
All right. Let's kick this off. Nice little strategy game for those of you out there. It's a good genre. I'm very excited for this. The players are loading in, and we are ready to
the
kick
match. Here we go.
this off. As the players' bases have been deployed, and the action begins like any strategy game. Economy will be the focus. We have a harvester to start things off. Nothing too crazy.
Nothing too crazy.
Well, it doesn't look terrible. But still, it's kind of odd to have a big mobile game, like showing at a conference, especially a live gameplay demo. Plus, people are going to be really angry if it is indeed a Command and Conquer game, because people really hate mobile games. Some for understandable reasons, but I'd imagine a lot of people, it's going to be just like the time Nintendo made a Metroid spin-off where you played as the Federation Force members and had a cutesy art style. Or the time Konami made a survival game in the Metal Gear universe after kicking Kojima out. Or even that time Square Enix just straight up announced a new Deus Ex game. that people just were afraid of because Invisible War, like, don't dumb down the heavy, basically dumb things down pretty heavily. Though at least in that case, people eventually warmed up to it, so...
To the south side, that missile passing halfway now. Both zones, two zones in control of Nick at Night. He will have the missiles. We see it starts to point towards In Control's base.
Let's see if In Control can get around to that top corner, able to halt that missile. He does contest the missile, putting it into the yellow position.
Very important, of course, blocking the pathing of those units is another big factor for this strategy. Holding those locations is so crucial as In Control begins to secure the northwest spot. Another tank's going to come out from Nick at Night to take it out, but now he's bringing out the Pitbull as well to help lock down that north position.
This missile is very, very close to firing. Let's see what's going to happen.
With another turret, In Control flanks. He takes the top, that missile,
and that
fires off.
Wow.
And Nick at Night, one shot away from being knocked out here. As the next one will start to ready up in just a moment.
If it wasn't for that giant pre-alpha logo on the bottom right, I could honestly see this being another game they released the same day as the conference.
That north position, those harvesters, of course, very crucial, very important to protect those as your economy allows you to get these big late game units. The units are going to come out a bit more slowly as you get more of them on the field. But In Control just spreading his forces out, trying to hold this advantage that he's had so far.
Nick at Night is trying to get in there, but there's a great turret placement from In Control, blocking and just ripping through again those infantry.
And we see In Control now moving his tank towards this.
Another drill pod we're seeing with some flame tanks.
Yeah, bring in the flank. Of course, those flame guys do amazing damage to the infantry, help to clean that out. Meanwhile, two more tanks coming out from Nick at Night to try and secure those positions. He brings out the laser infantry on the south side as well to deal with that tank. Going for counters, trying to scout out and see what your opponent is doing and make the proper response is so important in strategy.
Absolutely. Nick at Night cruising around, thinking about harassing those harvesters, coming around the far side for those rhinos. It looks like he's really pressing it.
And we see that missile is starting to get close to firing with 3 zones In Control for Nick at Night. Looking to set things back the other way. In Control trying to rally his forces around. He doesn't want to engage with just 1 or 2 units. He wants to move all of them together, create a good flank position, and take over that south.
And we're seeing the first mech unit from In Control. This is the Wolverine. Gonna rip, and this is watch out for this missile.
And Nick at Night's gonna fire that one off and settle for next missile is gonna end it.
Next missile wins.
Imagine if the rest of the conference was this, and they just got stuck in like a tiebreaker. That'd be interesting.
Okay, we've got our first mammoth tank on the board. If In Control can get this in position, he's going to do some serious damage.
That missile just passed halfway ready. He's also bringing out his first air unit to deal with those.
A lot going on here.
He's got a lot of range, that big boy, and In Control just needs to hold.
Again, it looks fun, to be honest.
Where's it going to go? Is he going to be able to get it off?
He's got it back.
There it is!
He's going to take it. Defeating Nick at Night here 2-1.
Dude, that was epic. Amazing. What a match. Thank you so much.
That was awesome.
Any thoughts, guys?
I just came to make mammoth tanks, so I've done my job.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was awesome. We saw a little bit of everything right there.
Perfect. Yeah. Let's hear it for Nathanius, Nick at Night, and In Control. Ladies and gentlemen, what you just saw was the worldwide reveal of Command & Conquer Rivals.
Oh boy. There it is.
Reimagines the real-time strategy experience for mobile.
Oh boy.
Complete, continuous control of their armies.
Tomorrow's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be like 500 videos about how EA is destroying the game industry because they made a mobile spin-off that actually looks decent.
The pre-alpha today. So head to the Google Play Store, search Command & Conquer Rivals.
Oh, it's technically out now, but it's just an alpha.
We can't wait for you to play.
Yeah.
Please let us know what you think. Thank you.
Probably the real thing is going to be people flipping out over it because of the fact it's a mobile game and not a PC game. Oh, I recognize that dude. That's Kane. As in Kane. I'm pretty sure.
For a new generation.
What if they got the actual guy who played him back? He was like an actual developer of the game and not just some actual actor. I forgot who it was. I think he was the director of the game or something.
And what I can say about all of those teams, and what I can say about us, is that we are always trying to learn and listen and strive to be better. And so, as you look at the 10 experiences that you're going to see today, and as you play games this week, there's some things we hope...
I suppose now was the anthem time.
That at the very core is choice. Is that you as players get to choose how you play, what you play, when you play, and what devices you play on. That in making those choices, you feel you are treated fairly. That no one is given an unfair advantage or disadvantage for how they choose to play. That for every moment that you invest, we know that you put so much of your life into the games we make, and that for every moment that you invest, you feel like you are rewarded and you are given value for that investment. And most importantly, that the games are fun. That we move past the grind.
I mean, speeches like this are pretty common, but
And so, as we think
I just feel like it's wasting time.
Know that we want to be better and that we want to make great games. And that as much as we love making games and as much as you love playing them, there's something that is even greater that we can do together. The power of this community when we come together to do amazing things is profound. Last weekend was the 3rd year of our Play to Give program, where we show the world how the power of play can be a positive force for showing social impact.
That's nice.
You out there participated in 9 in-game challenges.
It's good, but I'm pretty sure they talk about this every year.
To celebrate that, we contributed a total of $1 million to 3 charities that share our vision.
I mean, that's really good to hear. Donating to charity's nice.
Are not something we strive for.
But again, I feel like this is talked about every year.
These 3 organizations, the United Nations He for She, PACE's National Bullying Prevention Center, and Ditch the Label, an anti-bullying organization, all are doing great work, and we're proud to support them through Play to Give.
Yeah, those are some fine charities.
And thank you for your support. Thousands of us at EA and millions of you together doing immeasurable good because we love games. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for the incredible privilege of making games for all of you. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at Anthem.
And this is the part that people probably at one point were waiting for.
And left our world in chaos. Creating. Altering. Destroying. The anthem is all that remains.
There's a storm coming. These walls can't protect us forever.
Something is out there. It wants to destroy us all.
I like the concept, but I'm not really interested in multiplayer stuff like this. I mean, it's like clearly meant to be like EA's take on Destiny. The crowd certainly likes it. Is it supposed to flash like that? Or they just forget to cut to the stage in time?
A couple times, and it's still cool every time I see it. So I know all of you, like me, have had tons of questions about Anthem since last year because we're all BioWare fans. So we're going to do something a little bit different for the rest of the show, and we're going to take a deep dive into Anthem. So I'm going to bring out some members of the BioWare team to chat with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Casey Hudson, Mark Dara, and Kathleen Routsard. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for coming out today. Just got a little game to show, right? Yep. It's going to be very exciting. So Casey, we're going to go ahead and just jump right in and get started with you. So now, we know that you all started...
They showed gameplay last year, I believe, but I mean, I don't think it was that comprehensive, so...
Yeah, that's right. So, you know, first of all, it's amazing to be back. It's awesome to be making games for BioWare fans. You know, we have the best fans, so it's been super satisfying to come back to it, and you know, I just want to be able to continue the legacy of the studio, and that's kind of where it started with Anthem, is just thinking about, you know, what is the evolution of a BioWare game, and we wanted
Pretty sure I remembered the game being first person.
You know, a whole new world of story.
Last E3.
But we also wanted to do something that was, you know,
I think Destiny's first person all the time.
Every time you came back and played it. We also wanted to do something where, you know,
So it might be a hybrid where you can play first and third
really
person.
The initial vision of the game, not an MMO, not a multiplayer game with stories sort of bolted on the side, but something new and different, and I think the team has really captured that vision over the years.
Your fans really love the stories from BioWare, but I think we're kind of curious how you're planning to make story work in this shared world.
So a great story for BioWare is really about characters that you can have a connection with, choices you get to make, and feeling like the story is about you. In a lot of multiplayer games, those things get diluted because you're mixing multiplayer and storytelling.
Well, what's first person again?
You can build a solution to that, but you have to really build it into the core of the game. And that's what we've tried to do with Anthem. It's what we call our world, my story. So when you're out in the open world, the world is really dangerous and you're focused on your mission. And this is where other players get to play with you. The thing that's really interesting about this, it's unique for Anthem, is that this is a living shared world. So whether there's weather or it's nighttime, what we're experiencing together. Everyone that's playing Anthem at a moment is seeing the same thing. And this is what we mean when we talk about our world. It's a shared world that we all experience together. But then when I finish my mission, I come back to a base like Fort Tarsus. And this is a single player experience. I turn in my rewards, I talk to some characters, I experience the choices of my action. And this is where your story really lives and breathes. And by doing it this way, we're able to combine that impact.
I think I get it. It's first person during those base things, and third person in the actual gameplay.
Designing it so that we can add story for years to come. So one of the first things that we hear when
the games as a service trick.
When they've finished Mass Effect or Dragon Age, players want more story. And so we've designed Anthem in a way that we can actually add more story for years to come. And it could be anything. A new moment with a character that you've grown to love, or an event in the world that deepens the lore, or an entirely new storyline and plot.
Well, I'm certainly not going to complain about more story. I don't think anybody out there is going to either. So Kathleen, I wanted to ask you, from a writing perspective, since you are the lead writer, can you speak to what it's like to create a new world like Anthem from the beginning?
Well, what's really exciting for us, and not just the writers, but all of the devs, the designers, the artists, is that we're creating something new and mysterious for players to discover. So at the heart of the premise of Anthem is a world left unfinished by the gods. But the gods left behind their massive tools, and those tools are in constant conflict with this unknowable force called the anthem of creation and the chaos of those things pushing against each other.
And that's where the title came from.
Being reshaped in new and unpredictable ways.
Yeah, violent storms, mutated creatures, gigantic monsters. It's a dangerous environment that you need to wear a suit of powered armor, a javelin, to be safe in.
Now, something I think a lot of players out there maybe don't stop to think about is just how much work goes into creating a new intellectual property, or IP, as we've been saying. Now, we've seen all these different creatures, and Mark, you mentioned the storms. What's the process of creating a game like from scratch?
Yeah, it's something we've done a few times at BioWare, and then really the hardest part is getting started, just kind of getting off the blank page. So what we try to do is we think about the new experiences that we're trying to unlock for players.
Yeah.
So like, what is the fantasy fulfillment? What are the new
Not
things
really
you
interested.
do that are different from what you've played?
This
before?
is supposed to be the last game,
That's
so
where we start, and then
we're
once
just
we
gonna
think
sit
about those
here.
things, that's the power of creating new IP, especially for games, is that you actually get to build a whole fictional universe that's meant to bring out a certain experience. And then once we do that, then we still need to build all the rest of the stuff, and what unlocks us creatively is to think about like principles around art style, tone, and even the technology and the politics of our new world. And then from there we can actually go and build out every last detail.
Yeah, and one of the unique challenges for Anthem is that it's a world, an experience.
Didn't they already show that footage and that concept art?
So the world is always changing.
Jeez, what is it with this conference and showing the same things over and over?
And yeah, it's a really great concept to write for, because what it means is it gives us the opportunity to drop into the world almost in real time, a dramatic event.
There was an E3 where they just barely showed stuff, which was where the Visceral game got shown before it was canceled a few years later. But now they're just showing the same things over and over again. I feel like it'd at least be better if they just stuck with the stage instead of just showing what's on the screen.
Uniquely skilled to pilot these Javelin exosuits, and you need those suits.
I can't even tell what's new here and what isn't because of how many times they're showing the same thing.
The Dominion have they've discovered a way, they think, to weaponize the anthem of creation, and so we need to stop them and protect the free people of Tarsus.
Now, I've heard you call this power armor a couple different things. Is it a suit? Is it a javelin? Like, what's the canon term here?
We call them javelins, and there are 4, and they each have unique abilities. There's the Ranger, and then there's the Colossus, the Interceptor, and finally the Storm.
Well, they look nice, but
different way to play the game.
I'm not really interested in playing the actual game.
You are a freelancer, a pilot, which means you can decide which suit you want to use based on your mood, based on the mission you want to engage in, or the javelins that your friends are using. So really what this allows us to do is we built the suits to look like they're built from the materials of the world. So they each have their own unique abilities. So let's take a look at the Ranger now. The Ranger is a more generalized...
Here we go. Actual gameplay. It's not the same 5 seconds over and over.
One-on-one for the most part. The Colossus is heavier, more specialized.
Looks pretty fun.
Able to really pack in big weapons.
Well, not when it stops.
That let them devastate the battlefield.
I'm just going to say the Storm looks like it's going to be my favorite. I'm sure you guys out there are picking your faves right now, too. So the javelins look awesome, but we're going to take a couple questions right now. So Casey tweeted, some of you may have seen, asking for people out there to send us your questions. And the first one is going to be from @It'sSweetNicole, who asks, as a player who is all about making their character their own, what kind of customization options will be available in Anthem?
Yeah, so we really want players to express themselves both through customizing the way their javelin plays, through gear and weapons, but also being able to personalize the way
This seems scripted.
paint jobs, as well as changing the actual geometry of the suit itself.
And was that a Mass Effect themed skin?
And because you're going to be using a javelin for a long period of time, we really want you to be able to make it your own.
I'm glad you brought that up, because actually, Jay Legato has a question connected to customization. Monetization. How, when, loot box, cosmetics?
Big no. They're just gonna say
We are
no.
going to have some cosmetics and vanity items that you'll be able to purchase, but you're always going to know what you're going to buy before you spend any money on it. So no loot boxes, no ability to pay for power.
Close enough.
No ability to spend money on gameplay advantage at all within Anthem. But even more important than that, we want to make
Close
sure
enough.
an immersive experience that feels like it's complete from the get-go. So that means a main story, a big open world, and an ongoing service that provides new content for a long
I mean, no one's surprised they're gonna be saying that, considering the massive amount of controversy they got over Battlefront 2.
All right, Casey. We talked earlier about this being a co-op experience. So can you tell me a little bit about how the team gameplay in Anthem's going to work?
Yeah, it really is about, you know, the fun of teaming up as a team of superheroes and working together. So you want to get a few people together of different classes. So, you know, I think here we're going to see the Colossus, you know, just hammering people on the ground in gameplay, if we can have a look at that. So heavy artillery, being really strong, you know, in melee combat. And then
How long is this segment?
Shooting down from above. And then they're
So it feels like it's gonna take like an hour just to get past this.
is you don't just run around, you're swimming and flying as well.
So it's interesting because at the Slate Tones wants to know, how will you balance multiplayer with single-player storytelling?
So Anthem's really built around trying to combine the impact of having your own personal story with the fun of playing with other players. But we really want to make sure that that playing with other people feels like a choice. So for people that want to just experience the story, you're going to be able to do that. Now going out into an open world like this by yourself is going to be a little bit more challenging than if the team of 4 people. And we've really tried to balance the co-op experience to be fun even for people that don't normally engage in this kind of thing. So I really hope that everyone at least gives co-op a try.
Okay, that's good to know. If you want to roll solo, you can, but it's just going to be a little bit more difficult. Well, I know you all are on the edges of your seats. How about we show a little gameplay?
Well,
yeah? You guys want that? All right.
you already did.
You're going to set this up for us?
I will. So,
It's just most of the time it was the same 5 seconds of footage.
called Scars and Villainy. The Scars have put together an acid-based super weapon, so you got to take them out. So you start in the Strider, which is like a giant walker, and it's your forward base of operations. You have a conversation with your crew, Halleck, Faye, and Owen, and you'll hear Owen. He's going to talk us through the mission as we experience it here. And yeah, then you just get into your Javelin suit and you head out with your friends.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Mark, Casey, Kathleen, for talking to me about Anthem today. We're going to go ahead and roll the gameplay now. Enjoy, everybody.
Yeah.
Freelancer, time to get to work.
Faye said these bastards made some kind of acid and using it as a weapon. So, find where they're making this garbage and shut it all down.
Owen, what's the plan here?
Picking up loads of scars nearby. Take a look around the area, but be careful.
Looks great. Probably plays fairly good, but again, not super interested.
Right. Checking out the scar camp some more.
Look at all the weapons! Oh, and the turrets! Better move quickly.
The jetpack mechanic looks great. I assume this is it. The conference is over after this.
There's a shaker relic. Wait, something's odd. Get a closer look, would you? See those radiant pieces of energy? They're echoes from the Anthem of Creation. Loads of scars nearby. Be careful. Return them to the relic. You've got to silence it fast. It's gone silent. Disaster averted. Do you think we get a bonus for... Wait, something's happening.
What the hell was that?
I think that was whatever laid all the eggs around here. The sound came from below your position. On the plus side, this definitely counts toward hazard pay.
It's gonna stop when they see the boss, isn't it?
We should find the source.
Be nice if it wouldn't, but I can already tell it's gonna do that. Any minute now. Called it! And then the stream freezes immediately after I predict what happens. Good job.
How cool was that? I'm so hyped, you guys.
But again, it looks pretty good. I'm just not really interested in it.
So if you want to come by the Anthem Theater here at EA Play, you can check out the game live.
So I'm sure the question on everyone's minds, when do we get to play?
2019.
February 22nd, 2019. On,
well, they already said that was 2019, so...
So mark your calendars, everybody. Fire off your tweets. Thank you so much again to Casey and the entire BioWare team. I know you guys had that awesome theater outside, so I will see you guys there.
All right.
Give it up for Casey Hudson, everybody. I also want to give a big thank you to all of the developers who showcased their games today and everybody working hard at their studios back home around the world. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now, some of what you saw today, you guys have to wait to play. But you guys, EA has so much available right now. Now, for those of you keeping score, you can get your free trial of FIFA 18's World Cup today. And Andrew told us about the free trial of Origin Access. Yarny is back with a buddy in Unravel 2, which is also available today. Plus, you can take on your friends in Command & Conquer Rivals starting today as well. Now, that's a lot of available stuff that's out today. Is anybody ready to go home and download anything? No? You're like,
I might get Unravel 2, maybe.
So, I want to let you guys know to keep your stream going because in just a few moments, the FIFA 18 World Cup live tournament
No.
will begin. I'm going to head outside and check out the game.
No thanks. Please. I think I've had enough of sports games today. And for the rest of E3. But it's over. In about a minute or so. And that's it.
Hi guys, my name is True Boy.
right, welcome back to the stream. Now, I know the FIFA 19 was exciting.
Well, in short, it was okay. It's kind of what you'd expect. The real stars of the show were the EA originals, as usual. Anthem looked fine, even though I'm not super interested in it. And of course, the sports games were the sports games. But tomorrow, there's a bunch of E3 conferences, and that's basically when it really starts. The Tiny Build thing, which is essentially just attached to this Twitch stream that I'm required to watch if I want to stream E3. Microsoft, which, again, the big three is like where stuff really happens, for the most part. Though the Ubisoft and Square might have some good stuff. The Bethesda conference is also tomorrow. And finally, the Devolver Digital conference, which I'm still debating whether I'll actually stream it or not, because I'm fairly convinced it's most likely going to be a joke. With maybe one announcement that's pretty obvious already. But anyways, see you tomorrow, I suppose.